everyone, Miss Carrie here from Miss Carrie's Creations with another design team project for Bramble Fox. Today I'm sharing a layout from our vacation album using some photos we took at Animal Kingdom. This is a simple page with a fun story to share. These photos were taken during our trip to Animal Kingdom. We only spent about an hour there, and I'll explain why as I am creating the page. I have been using bits from the wildlife collection all month long, and I'm down to just a few of the items left over. I have some of the phrases left, a few of those little animals, and some paper snips. I'm going to be pairing these elements with some bright patterns from a Simple Stories collection. The Bramble Fox Wildlife Collection also has some cut files. I have cut out a few of the tropical leaves from patterned paper and this fun little Jeep. I have already assembled this so that it's ready to go. The main part of the Jeep was cut from patterned paper, and I added a little bit of shading and pen details to a few of the pieces. Our vacation album is 8.5 by 11, so I cut down some white cardstock and a few patterned papers for the background. I know I want a larger piece in the center and a patterned paper strip on the right. This is the same pattern that's on the Jeep, so it's going to coordinate really well. I am going to need some type of border over here, and I'm not sure what I'm going to add. But at this point, I've realized that that white cardstock around the edges is a bit too harsh, and I want to add something to it. I've brought in Bramble Fox's Circle Stencil 34, along with some speckled egg and bundled sage distress oxide ink. I'm creating some little bubble-like elements on this background. I don't want to add too much color, but just enough to create some whimsical elements on that background. With a blending brush, I'm adding a small amount of speckled egg ink to about 3/4 of the circle, and then I'm adding some of that bundled sage around the edges. I'll come back in with the speckled egg and blend the two together, and it creates a nice little bubble-like image. As I'm adding the circles, I am bringing back in the pattern papers occasionally just to make sure I have a nice balance of shapes and sizes around the edges. If you're new to my channel and enjoy what you're learning today, I would love it if you tapped that subscribe button and let me know in the comments below that you are a new subscriber. So I'm going to finish adding some more circles to this page, and then I'm going to adhere my paper to the page. I decided to add a tan frame around the edges to bring in more of that color to the design. And I stitched around the white cardstock using my sewing machine to create a nice frame. Before I adhere my patterns down, I'm going to distress the edges with a sanding block. Sometimes you have patterns in your collection that may seem a little bit too bright or busy for you to use on your page. Using a sanding block allows you to create some nice distressing on those patterns and tone down some of those bright colors. On the right side of the layout, I felt like I needed another pattern. So I brought in a border sticker that has some colors that are also going to be used on other elements of the page. I did sand this sticker to distress it before I tacked it down. I'm going to finish adhering all these elements in place, and then I'm going to run this through my sewing machine and add a little bit of zigzag stitching. Now that the base of the page is complete, I'm going to mix and match some elements from various collections that I have to help tell the story. When we were planning this vacation, one of my main concerns was where to eat. Now, this may seem like a really odd thing to wonder, but when you have food allergies, going somewhere new causes quite a bit of anxiety. I asked a few of my friends who had traveled to Disney to give me a list of their favorite places to eat. And one of my friends gave me a long list of her favorite treats, which included gluten-free churros at Animal Kingdom. Now, if you have food allergies or are gluten-free, you know what it's like to be able to have a treat that you wouldn't normally be able to eat. The week of our vacation was full of visits to various parks and a 3-day conference, so we knew that we would not be able to spend the day at Animal Kingdom. But my husband opted for a park hopper pass, which allowed us to go from our main park that day to another park without having to pay for an extra ticket. We were able to spend just enough time at Animal Kingdom to take a few of those iconic photos like that large tree and grab some of those delicious gluten-free churros. Now, this may seem a bit silly to some of you, but it was one of the highlights of my vacation, so I wanted to make sure I recorded this memory in our album. Now, at this point, you're going to see me fuss around with some stickers and bits of ephemera because I keep feeling like the base of the page has way too much weight. In front of the Jeep, I added a sign that says, "Don't feed the monkeys." I'm not sure at this point if that sign really works, but I like how it goes with the theme of the page, so for now I'm going to leave it. With the little bit of orange at the base of the page on the lion, I wanted to bring that color to the top of the page. So I added some pieces from the cut apart page that I layered with a title and a little churro sticker. I realized that the "Don't feed the monkey" sign was just a little bit too much for that part of the page. I decided to dig through my collection and discovered a little phrase on the paper snips in black and white that says, "Don't feed the animals," which was the theme that I was going for on this page. After removing that sign and adding this to the Jeep, I feel like it balances out the design so much better. The leaves that I cut out of pattern paper were tucked behind the lion to ground him a little bit, and next to him I added a few stickers, one that says "Good Eats." I'm going to go print my journaling and then I'll share this finished page with you. Off camera, I added the journaling with a little bit of stitching along the side, and I also added some twine to the tag at the top of the page. Behind the photos, I tucked a few orange pattern paper strips to help them stand out a little bit more. I think this pulls the page together and frames those photos really well. I'm going to share a few close-ups of this page so that you can see it in a little bit more detail. This layout was created to record some memories of our trip to Animal Kingdom for the sole purpose of getting some gluten-free churros. Sometimes you just need to record a memory of the silly things you did on vacation so that you can remember all the fun that life has to offer. If you are one who enjoys pinning projects to inspiration boards, I have added these photos to my website for you to save. I want to thank you again for joining me as I created another scrapbook layout and shared this fun memory with you. If you have any questions about this project or the supplies I used, feel free to comment below. I hope that you have a wonderful week, and I can't wait to see what you create.